gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Lightning cracks, brilliant, cruel. Metal glows, the fire's fuel. Four creatures rise, shadows vast. Four faces stare, the die is cast. Chariots of flame tearing the sky. Wings of terror, they never die. Eyes of fire, hearts of stone. Four faces speak, yet die alone. Clouds twist, their wrath ignites for wings, slicing through the night. Brilliant light, consuming all. Heaven trembles, shadows fall. Human forms, but none are whole. They rend the flesh, devour the soul. Chariots of flame tearing the sky. Wings of terror, they never die. Eyes of fire, hearts of stone. Four faces speak, yet die alone. Die alone. Die alone.
Another song created by Sunu.com. And I want to tell you what, folks. I love it. I really do. Really do love it. So, folks, good morning, David Nobar. That song was created by these lines taken from the Holy Bible, and it is Ezekiel 4. I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings. And the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead. They did not turn as they moved. Ezekiel 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The Bible speaks of, well, you have to remember, folks, when the Bible is written, these people never saw anything of what's like, for example, in the world, atomic bombs, stuff like that, the size of armies, the weapons being used. So they had to best describe in their own words what they were seeing. So in this case, some people say, oh, well, they were describing flying saucers, I happen to be a big believer. And as promised, I was going to show some videos that I've been gathering to show you what people are talking about and have been talking about for quite some time. Let me gear up this one here. There he is. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so I'm just going to show a couple of videos. I'm not going to show them in entirety because some of them are very lengthy. I want to talk a little bit, and then we'll just call it a Sunday. And if someone happens to come along and want to chit chat, hey, well, I'll chit chat. And if you want to be part of the show, let me know, and I'll send you a link. So let's start with this guy here first. Bum, 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 bum. There you are. Here we go.
My name is Chris Mellon. I spent approximately 20 years in the U.S. intelligence community, both in the Defense Department and on Capitol Hill with the Senate Intelligence Committee. The other day, I had the opportunity to see the new UAP documentary, Age of Disclosure. And after reflecting on it, I prepared a few remarks that I hope will be of assistance to Congress. In the new UAP documentary, Age of Disclosure, we learned that the Air Force had a secret program to track UAP in the vicinity of Area 51 and other sensitive military facilities in the 1990s. This report comes from none other than General James Clapper, former Director of U.S. Air Force Intelligence and former Director of National Intelligence. Does that secret Air Force UAP program continue to this day? Where is the data? What did the Air Force learn? Moreover, why is it that when Congress asked the services for UAP information in their possession in the 2020 Intelligence Authorization Bill, the Air Force denied having any pertinent information other than a handful of very recent innocuous reports submitted after DoD guidance was finally issued in 2020, requiring all military components to report UAP sightings? In my view, the Air Force brass treat Congress with contempt, even if not in a strictly illegal manner. I also believe that the secret Air Force UAP program described by General Clapper, or another like it, remains quietly active behind the scenes. I say this because it would explain a number of things. For example, why is it that Air Force F-22s, despite having greatly superior sensors, did not report UAP operating in DoD training areas off the East Coast when Navy F-18s were routinely detecting and reporting UAP on the same ranges? Why is it the US's Princeton radar data from the Nimitz case disappeared after U.S. Air Force officers visited the ship? In fact, there are many similar cases where Navy data was removed by U.S. Air Force personnel. Similarly, why are the Nimitz deck logs missing for precisely the period of Princeton UAP tracking back in 2004? Why is it the Air Force never reports UAP detected by its strategic radar systems? These solid-state phased array radars are believed to be the most powerful emitters on the planet. Yet despite their massive range and constant coverage, even when UAP are detected operating for days directly in front of these powerful emitters, the Air Force fails to issue any UAP reports. Why is it that none of the innumerable NORAD UAP intercept cases from recent decades were submitted with the 2021 UAP report to Congress, including the famous UAP case over the Bush Ranch in Texas, where F-16 pilots were made to sign NDAs by the Air Force? As recently as last year, the Air Force was still refusing to provide NORAD UAP intercept data to DoD's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office in Congress. Why are there no reports of UAP in space despite a massive U.S. Air Force space surveillance capability? Why is it that the Air Force seized Navy sonar data obtained after an encounter by a U.S. nuclear submarine with an underwater UAP? In sum, I believe the Air Force is treating...
I want to just quick comment about that. I'm not sure if I have the video now in my setup I have right now that mentions about it, but what he was just saying about underwater, he said the one congressman I was watching, this is a guy from Tennessee, and his Tennessee vernacular, he said that our best underwater submarine can travel at 20 miles underwater. 20 miles per hour underwater. He said they were tracking a ship. Get this. The ship was the size of a football field underwater, traveling faster than 200 miles per hour. The submarine could not keep up with this underwater ship that was obviously not one of ours, or Chinese or Russian.
Congress contemptuously when it comes to dodging formal congressional requests for Air Force UAP data. It seems likely the Air Force has either carefully marshaled all of its UAP data into an obscure, highly secret, quote, waived special access program that even the chair and ranking members of the intelligence committees are not cleared for, or that the Air Force is using Atomic Energy Act or other authorities to justify concealing this UAP information. For example, the Air Force might claim they are merely the executive agent for CIA or the National Nuclear Security Agency, and that reporting of this data is therefore not their responsibility. Their counterpart agency might claim the reverse, leaving Congress uninformed as the, quote, deep state exploits a fissure in the current congressional military and intelligence reporting framework. Regardless, it is time for Congress to put the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force, the Secretary of the Air Force, and the Director of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations under oath in a secure hearing room to get to the bottom line.
Bottom line, indeed. I want to not play the last of that. I want to show you a guy that I follow. I love this guy. He is phenomenal. He is hilarious. He goes by the name of Casper Sight. Besides doing alien stuff, he also does strange things like ghosts, spirits, things like that. Okay, so I want to show you. I want to do that. Boom, boom. What did I just do? Oh no. Did I just do something bad, Randy? I think I did. How do I get out of that? Darn it. Well, hold on, folks. Let me get rid of that and go back over here. I apologize for that. I pushed one button I probably shouldn't have. Hopefully I still have a copy of it. I want you to watch this guy. Okay. Well, I'm going to find that one later. My apologies. But let's go this one here. This one here is catching a lot of traction. What you're going to see here in the center is a spacecraft of some sort flying across an ocean, and there are two drones involved. One drone is filming, while the other drone has a very, very powerful weapon, missile that shoots and hits that craft. And you will see what happens here. Boom, bounces right off. And there is no audio. And you see where's the mic? There it is.
On a trajectory after. This is very, very interesting footage, especially because it appears that this object continues moving along on a trajectory after the impact from this missile. Again, much more analysis is required, but at first glance, it does some very interesting things. It appears to rotate before the missile strikes it. A lot more analysis needs to be done, but I want to quickly caution folks that we get hung up on flashy videos. I really want to urge everybody watching to call their senators to support the UAP Disclosure Act, which is sponsored by Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds. That is really the core of the matter. That's my bottom line takeaway, that we should pay attention to these, again, headline grabbing incidents and testimonies and videos, but let's really pass some legislation that actually could have some teeth and some impact on this topic.
Lou, Merrick raises a good point. The video is impressive, but let's apply some proper skepticism. We don't know its provenance. It was leaked anonymously to Congressman Burleson. Second, it lacks all of the telemetry data that we saw in the infamous Nimitz Tic Tac video that you actually helped make public yourself. Congressman Burleson himself didn't want to make any claims about what this was or wasn't. We need a lot more information here, right?
Yeah, Elizabeth, Merrick's absolutely correct. We have to be very careful not to jump to any conclusions prematurely. However, this is just an example of one of many, many types of videos that the U.S. government has in its possession, and Congress is working very hard trying to get some of those released in order for the American public to see it for themselves, and also maybe get some additional expertise to look at what we're looking at in this video. I would
see, my problem is Congress is, for whatever reason, maybe not Congress themselves, but the military or the civilian businesses are keeping this information from the general public. They claim that it's trying not to keep people from being scared, or that, by releasing too much information, because, these civilian businesses, when they do get the chance to shoot down one or retrieve a crashed one. And I'm going to tell you what, folks, and I've said this before, why in the hell would you fly possibly millions of light years from your home planet only to crash on our planet? I mean, were you that stupid? You got too close to the ground, or you got too fancy with your flying in and out and trying to make a circus out of your appearance here, and you lost control and didn't take into consideration how close you were to the ground when you hit. And also, I mean, you have to think too that if they claim that they have retrieved biologicals, it means they have retrieved bodies from inside these ships. So you would have to think that somewhere there's a home world. And I would hope to think that they're keeping track of how many ships are launched from their world and how many ships make it back, to think that, okay, we sent out 50 ships and we got only 36 back. What happened to the other 14? Maybe we should keep track of them. That's a lot of money, and that's my brother Joe out there. He didn't make it back. What's going on here? So here's another video I think you like. I like the fact that the news, Max, and CNN has been covering this story.
Alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
Okay, now here's what I was talking about the submarine and the underwater alien spacecraft. And the guy on the right is the guy from Tennessee.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Can you go into more detail? How long have they been here? Where are they?
Well, I've been extrapolating all this with my East Tennessee vernacular. So we've got five or six deep water areas of our oceans. We actually know more about the surface of the moon than we do about these areas. And these are areas where we have a high frequency of UFO or UAP sightings. We've had naval folks have told me pretty high up that they've actually tracked these things. Now, we have stuff that can go underwater probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe something a little faster that the Chinese haven't stole from us yet. And we've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour. Now, I realize in the water you extrapolate that to knots and all that, but just for good old East Tennessee common sense, 200 miles an hour is something the size of a football field. And we don't know what it is. And these are in these areas. So, yeah, there's something going on there. And whether it's something that's been here for millennial or whatever, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm kind of like Dr. Loeb. I love to study this kind of stuff. It's the scientific material there he's the one that disclosed some things that were found that were extraterrestrial in our oceans. And, he's brave enough, I believe, to come forward with those. So I'm looking forward to some more talks about this. But I think I've kicked the hornet's nest because it was just in a casual conversation with a blogger, and I discussed it. It wasn't in a classified setting, so I could talk about it.
Hey, Zach.
I always remember the last thing this one high-ranking official told me as he left my office. He was right close to me as I am to my phone in my barn right now, and he said,
"Yes, that there are."
Okay, so they cut off what he said, so I apologize.
Alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this.
Let me get rid of this one here. So I was a little wrong. I said 20 miles an hour. So our sub was going like 40 miles an hour. I couldn't keep up with this football-sized alien spacecraft. I'm going to show you one more. Then I'm going to call it a day. This is our President Donald J. Trump. And I will keep my politics out. I sort of, kind of like him. He is starting to have some problems as far as I'm concerned, but he's still a good guy. Now, this is what he has to say.
And I speak to people about it. I've had actually meetings on it. People that are very smart and very solid have said they believe there is something out there. And, it makes sense that there could be. I've never been convinced, even despite that. I just, for some reason, it's not my thing.
So you think, one, he knows, and two, he's open to transparency on UAPs?
He certainly is very well informed on this issue. Leave it at that. I don't want to get ahead of what the president might want to reveal personally.
There's been a role to cover this up, you're saying, through administrations. And there have been people who have been threatened and told not to testify?
I was physically threatened even before I sent in my Intelligence Community Inspector General report under the previous administration. I actually had to go and seek legal protection that way because I was, literally in fear both professionally and in my personal life.
And when you mentioned in that testimony of recovering the pilots or remains non-human, that's something that you saw as far as the intelligence with your eyes?
Yes. And it is a very uncomfortable, even for me now, as somebody who's seen it, experienced it, even talking about it, because it's so outside a normal person's worldview to understand that there is this biological sentience that have piloted these crafts that don't necessarily look 100% like you and I.
Were there pictures?
There were. Yes, there were.
When I said from another planet or from outer space, you said we don't know where they're from. Is it interdimensional? What are we talking about?
I've talked to a lot of, I'll call graybeards on the program. That is a subject of hot debate on origin. I've, as a guy trained in physics formally as well in my background, I leave an open mind on what the origin is. Certainly, there is the extraterrestrial hypothesis, and they could be coming from elsewhere off Earth, but I don't usually go there because I did not see that data, and I'm not conversant in the high confidence theories that the U.S. government had.
I'm not aware of any remains that the department has of any signs of extraterrestrial beings or activity or technology.
You say we, the
Yeah.
U.S. government knows, but there are many other governments around the world. Do they know?
They have their own programs, and like I said 2.5 years ago, we have been in arms race with our peer competitors, namely Russia and China, and they have their own programs in this regard. And I was actually able to view a body of intelligence that discussed adversarial programs, and I'll leave it at that.
We've recovered things, you say, bodies and physical remains. Was there a sense that the motive of how they got here, what they were doing, was it peaceful, not peaceful?
We've seen a mixed bag of activity, and motive and intent, why they're visiting. That's, once again, that gets into our assessments, not necessarily, we can't quite understand the intent of some of the sentients and why they're visiting. Could it be because we have interesting genetic material on Earth? We're a Jurassic Park tourist attraction for them. Could be a myriad of reasons.
For the other people who are coming out, you say to them what? You've obviously faced intimidation. You talked about harassment. There are reports that others have too.
I say that there's hope. Certainly, Congress values whistleblower information right now, and certainly I believe there's an appetite with the administration to do the right thing on this as well. And there's some other things that are happening behind the scenes that I'll let the administration discuss when they're ready.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time. And
okay, so all I can say, folks, is however you want to believe. I mean, whether there be aliens, spacecraft, or they're just making us all up. There's just too much to go on to say that they're not real. Okay, David Novar says, let me get this here. Come on, boom, 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 boom. David Novar says the craft are transmedium. They can go underwater, within our atmosphere, and outside the Earth's atmosphere or space. He also says that what's so hard to believe? Tech can fail and their ships can crash or be shot down. These beings aren't infallible and they're not God. Shit happens. So I hope they're not God. There are some people who say that these creatures, these aliens, are actually fallen angels. And I had to say bullcrap on that because if they were fallen angels, why would they need ships to fly in? Because angels have wings. And there's all kinds of variations of what people believe. They kicked out of heaven and they fall to hell, and their wings get clipped and things like that. All I can say is that this discovery is not new. Archaeologists have been uncovering images carved into stone, into wall paintings from the caveman time of what they've been seeing coming out of the sky. It's just only now recently that Congress has been taking an interest in it because of it's been happening too much. Our military is experiencing too many chance happenings with these spacecraft. Too many people are filming them and so forth. So I have many more videos to share. If you folks want to see more of this, please let me know in the comments section. Obviously, please share out my video. I really appreciate it. And we'll go with that. So I just want to close with one other song that I created from the Ezekiel version. I was kind of surprised. I left the creation of the music style up to Suno, and I kind of like it's sort of like a hard punk rock kind of thing, and to be honest with you, I kind of like the sound that went. Obviously, I only typed in like 5 sentences, and it went to town with the rest of the song. So, as this song plays out, I will be leaving the broadcast and bringing it to an end. So here it goes.
Winds howl, the storm is near from the north. A fire appears, lightning cracks, brilliant, cruel. Metal glows, the fire's fuel. Four creatures rise, shadows vast. Four faces stare, the die is cast. Chariots of flame tearing the sky. Wings of terror, they never die. Eyes of fire, hearts of stone. Four faces speak, yet die alone. Clouds twist, their wrath ignites for